Carrie Underwood takes home the ACM Entertainer of the Year win alongside Thomas Rhett in a true first in Academy history, a tie. Plus, Taylor Swift returns to the country music stage at the ACM Awards for the first time in 7 years. And from Keith Urban's heartfelt intro to Mickey Guyton's powerful performance, how the ACMs addressed social injustice head on. Hello, everyone, and welcome to ET Live. I'm Cassie DiLaura, and thank y'all so much for joining us as we recap the biggest and best moments from the 55th Annual Academy of Country Music. Now, this truly was a night to remember that had jaws dropped on the floor because for the first time in ACM history, there were two winners for the night's top prize. That's right. It was a tie between Carrie Underwood and Thomas Rhett. And I feel like Keith Urban, while he presented this, the look on his face, he was shocked. And I feel like that was all of us watching at home. And as Carrie said it best in the intro for her acceptance speech, 2020, man, a year of epic surprises. But I will say a huge congratulations to both of them, especially Carrie Underwood. I know a lot of people were rooting for Carrie. She was the only female nominated in the category, and this win for Carrie makes history as the first female to win Entertainer of the Year 3 times. She was currently tied with Taylor Swift at 2, but now she is the leading lady with 3. So a huge congratulations to Thomas and Carrie. And from Carrie Underwood winning the night's top prize to her salute to legendary women in country music with her amazing performance, it really was a night for the ladies, not to mention some of country's fresher faces like Tenille Townes, who is the new female artist winner, and also Gabby Barrett. Those two ladies took the stage in amazing, beautiful, heartfelt performances that we will dive into later on in the show. Plus, a huge shout out to Miranda Lambert, who truly reigned supreme as the leading lady for ACM wins overall. Actually, not even leading lady. She has the most ACM wins in history with 35. And also, we're going to dive into how the ACMs truly rose to the occasion from country music's party of the year to a night of heart and hits. There were a lot of poignant moments addressing social injustice head on, from Keith Urban's intro speech to performances from Mickey Guyton, Kane Brown, and Jimmy Allen. It truly was a night to remember, and we're going to dive into all of it. Country expert Kelly Sutton, you are live from Nashville. Girl, have you caught your breath from that crazy jaw-dropping moment at the very end? A tie.
Could you hear me screaming from where you are? Because I could not believe that. I mean, you and I both have been to these awards so many years, covered these awards so many years. Never in the history of the ACMs have we had a tie like this, especially for the top prize, Entertainer of the Year. You know, when we were talking about this before, you said, who do you think is going to win? And I said, I really think Carrie's got a great shot at this. We said that this top prize is like, I don't know, homecoming queen or king. Well, now we have both, a homecoming queen and king.
Now, I have to ask you, Kelly, and I want your total honest opinion here. Do you feel like this tie takes away from Carrie's win? Because, mind you, she was obviously the only female nominated in this category, and everyone was pulling for her because she is so deserving of this award. And it's like, can't we just give it to her and have her have this moment to shine? Like, why does she have to share it now?
Just looking at it on Twitter, I've already had people that have jumped in and said, hey, these votes are tallied by a professional firm. So there's no funny business. This was real. I don't know. I mean, I agree with you, though. I really thought that this was just going to be Carrie's year. She deserved it. That Cry Pretty Tour 360. Oh, my goodness. I saw it twice. It was incredible. She
Right.
really just worked so hard for this. So I did think that it was going to be hers. I know she's excited to have that win, but it's not the full thing, right? I
Right?
mean,
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
I
But
feel
it's
you.
still,
And
go on, sorry.
I was just gonna say, I feel like she's so gracious and so wonderful. She's never gonna say that out loud. But if I were her, I think I would be happy and excited, but also it's just a little bittersweet.
Totally. I feel like bittersweet is a really good word to use here. But also, I mean, she kind of said it herself. And I feel like we maybe saw like her true emotions for it when she said, 2020, man, full of surprises. I mean, at the end of the day, though, it is still historic for her. She is now the first female to win Entertainer of the Year 3 times in her career. The last time was a decade ago in 2010, which was followed by her award in 2009. So third time's the charm, maybe a little bit bittersweet for her, but still, I mean, this is going to be a moment, Kelly, that we talk about for years to come. Don't you agree?
Well, and here's what I wonder. Okay, I'm just going to float this into the universe and let it be received wherever it may. But since we've done this now and we've thrown down this gauntlet, does that mean going forward we have a female entertainer of the year and a male entertainer of the year? Let's keep the homecoming theme alive and always have a queen and a king. I mean, is it that difficult? I think maybe that's what we do.
You know what? You might be onto something, Kelly. It's a question that I feel like we need answers to.
Right, right. We're gonna get to the bottom of this for sure. But congratulations to both of them. And honestly, I want to say nothing negative to Thomas Rhett because he is absolutely one of the nicest people in the world, in the music industry for sure, and absolutely deserved this as well. I just thought it was going to be Carrie's year.
I know, but you know what? The night was full of surprises. And while we already knew that Taylor Swift was going to take the stage at the ACM Awards, I feel like it's still one of the biggest moments that people are talking about on social media right now. This was her big return to country music at the ACM Awards for the first time in 7 years. She had her world premiere performance of Betty. Of course, Taylor is no stranger to the Academy of Country Music family. She is a 2-time ACM Entertainer of the Year winner. 9-time winner overall, and her performance took place at the legendary Grand Ole Opry House, which is so significant for many reasons, especially because this is the 14-year Opry anniversary for her when she first made her debut when she was 16 years old. So, obviously, this was a very anticipated performance. Kelly, did it live up to your expectations?
You know what? I think it did, and here's why. And I even tweeted or sent you a text message in the middle of this. I said, "This feels like 2007 Taylor." I
Mhm.
mean, I've been lucky enough to be in Nashville for over 20 years, and I remember when Taylor was 16 and playing with a guitar, and that song Betty done in that setting reminds me of Taylor of old in the best way. I mean, the song is beautiful. She has released it to country radio. She is hoping that country radio will play it. So coming back, it feels very full circle that she has
Right.
returned home to her roots. I think the question going forward is this something that we're just seeing with this song with Betty, or is there going to be a more intentional Taylor looking toward country music? Is she trying to come back for bigger
Mhm.
reasons? Taylor has played the Opry, but she is not a member of the Opry. And I could see that being on her dream board somewhere.
Oh, you make a very great point there. And you mentioned how you've been in Nashville for a long time and you've been there for her evolution from country to pop. I mean, from your personal, perspective, how do you think this performance is received by not only country artists but the country fans?
I think country fans are going to love it because it's a country song. I mean, you listen to it, it is a story song. You're sucked into the lyrics. Just the way that she had a stripped down version of it, it was beautiful
Mhm.
rendition, but I think it's a country song through and through. If you do listen, however, this is just a little warning, parents out there. If you listen to the version on the album, there is an F bomb in it. So it's not that country when you get to that point. Just be
She
careful.
made
Just
it
putting it out
appropriate for
there.
TV. Yeah, she made it
There's
appropriate
a
for
little
TV.
there's a little E expletive beside it, so just
Yeah.
be warned. But saying that, I do think, especially there are so many country fans that grew up with Taylor. I mean, they started with her when she was performing, Tim McGraw and our song, and they've evolved with her. So to see her come back around, I feel like those fans are going to come back into the fold. And And I do think that country is ready. I think they're ready to embrace Taylor back.
I think I loved the performance, but I have one little note about it that is kind of like a little peeve of mine. She didn't say anything. Like, she did not say anything before her performance,
Right.
after, did not thank the Academy, did not give a shout out to the fans, did not say how special this moment was for her. And so for that, I was a little caught off guard.
You wanted more. You wanted more
I
Taylor.
wanted more
And,
Taylor. I
and
just wanted
who's
this
to
to be
say
emotional.
I did too. And who's to say though, this was taped. That was one of the pre-taped performances. So maybe there was something on a different take that didn't make the final edit. I can't imagine that they would probably not include Taylor talking, but I agree with you. And I do think it is also interesting that she's back home. She's already said that entire look she did head to toe. She styled herself head to toe, picked out the outfit, did the hair, did the makeup all on her own. So I feel like maybe it felt like she was home visiting her mom and somebody said, hey, come on over and do the ACMs. And she's like, okay, I'll just pop
And
on
you
the
know what?
stage.
In true Taylor form too, she leaves it to the music. She doesn't need to, say anything or give an explanation. She leaves it to the music, and her presence there physically on stage was, I feel like, enough said. And I know that a lot of other country artists were watching in support, because someone who actually is a very big fan of Taylor and that song Betty is Blake Shelton. Blake had a big night tonight. He took home an award for God's Country, but he also had a really special performance with his girlfriend Gwen Stefani. They performed their song Happy Anywhere. And what I loved about this performance is that when you look at these photos, it may seem like they're at the Bluebird Cafe in Nashville, right? Well, thank God for technology and green screens. Blake and Gwen were actually in Los Angeles, and they had a green screen behind them. And as soon as the camera cut to them, Blake snapped his fingers and it turned into a virtual Bluebird. So he may have been on the West Coast, but it definitely felt like he was in Nashville with everyone else. And that was definitely one of my favorite duets of the night. Another duet that I loved was Keith Urban and Pink, their world premiere performance of their song, their new collaboration, One Too Many, which is off
Oh
Keith's
my God.
upcoming album releasing on Friday. Kelly, this was, very colorful and vibrant. And I feel like another one that was highly anticipated, because we really haven't had long to digest this song. It just released, right before the awards show. What do you think of this pairing and this song?
It's interesting. As soon as I saw it, I thought, oh, yeah, that makes total sense to me. And then I remembered, oh, Pink did the duet with Kenny Chesney a few years ago, Setting the World on Fire. And I'm like,
Chris
yeah,
Stapleton.
right. She had the Chris Stapleton duet. Pink loves her some country collabs. And you know what?
Mhm.
We love her back. So come on with it, Pink. I love this together with Keith. Keith is fantastic. Keith is one in my book that can do no wrong. This is definitely a cutting edge sound for him. It's a little different. It's a little more on the pop edge of it. And I think Pink coming into it just lends a little bit more street cred to it. It's a cool sound, a good vibe. I think fans are
Mhm.
really going to love this song.
And I do too. I'm one of those fans that's going to have it on repeat. And at ET's Kevin Frazier actually talked to Keith earlier this week, and we asked him how this song came to be. And this is what he had to say.
I didn't really know her, so my co-exec producer, Dan McCarroll, said, I think we can get the song to her, and luckily she heard it. Luckily she loved it, and then we had to figure out how to do remote recording. She's an extraordinarily gifted human being. That voice, phew, man, that voice. I mean, you know it the second it comes on. You just know it. She's one of the greats. She literally is one of the greats.
She truly is. She truly is one of the greats, and I think that this is not going to be the last time we see her embrace a country music stage. But Kelly, from the performances to winners of the night, there were so many big moments and special poignant moments. One of them being how the Academy of Country Music took this night to address social injustice head on, and it began with Keith Urban at the beginning of the show. In his opening intro, he addressed social social injustice, thanking the inspiring voices that who have been crying out for equality around the world right now and also in the country music community. And he also offered a very hopeful, emotional message about the healing power of music. And right after that, he then tossed it to Jimmy Allen, who made his debut performance on the Academy of Country Music stage. And, you know, after Jimmy's performance, we had a performance from Kane Brown, who performed Worldwide Beautiful, you know, and he gave this speech talking about how he wants people to love each other. And then, of course, we'll get into Mickey Guyton next, but just, you know, from all of that, what was your big takeaway as the show progressed? Because they made sure it wasn't just off the top and we're not going to address it again. They made sure that it was throughout the show, from the beginning to the middle to the end, and that it was done right and that it was impactful.
You know, I think that was such a wonderful take on it. And I know the ACMs were very purposeful on that. And I'm so glad that they were, because, you know, historically, country music hasn't had the representation from the African American community. I mean, we've had a few of our artists, but just not that many. So now that we're seeing so many more that are coming onto the scene, to give them that platform, to give them that voice, and to let those voices be heard, especially when the songs are of those important messages. When I heard the Kane Brown song, that was so moving to me. Of course, Mickey Guyton, I cried my eyelashes off. I had to go reapply, but it is incredible now. I feel like the tide is turning, Cass. I feel like we are just going to see more and more and more. And it does my heart so good. You've got Breland, who's a new artist. Blanco Brown, they mentioned Blanco. He's incredible, and best wishes to him. Jimmy Allen, Reese Palmer, Mickey Guyton, Kane Brown, the list goes on and on. So I feel like the tide is turning, even though 2020 has been really strange and at times very fraught. I feel like now it's making an impact in country music, and I can't wait to see what's ahead.
And it's a time for change. And that's something that I actually spoke to Mickey Guyton about a few weeks ago when she found out that she, when she announced that she was going to be performing at the ACM stage, because she was originally scheduled to perform at the April show in Las Vegas. And, you know, I'm really glad that they were able to include her this year with this special performance. Of course, her song, What Are You Gonna Tell Her? When we talked recently, she said that she wanted this performance to be a moment and a call for change. This is not even just her fight for women, but it's her fight for, Black sons. What are you going to tell your Black sons that don't have the same opportunities as others? What are you going to tell your daughters who don't have the same opportunities in life? And this moment, this performance from her, I mean, you mentioned your eyelashes came off because you were crying so hard. I know in our group chat for work, everyone was talking about how emotional this was. And at the very end, I thought there was such a special moment where she cradled her baby bump. And I thought that was so significant because she really hopes that this performance in particular will continue the conversation of change. And, I got chills throughout my body the moment that she cradled that baby bump. And I mean, really, the way that she stands there for other women of color, especially, and makes that something that's so close to her heart is truly something special. And that's actually something she told ET backstage when we caught up with her after their performance, which we'll have on the Entertainment Tonight broadcast tomorrow. But I mean, overall, Kelly, I mean, I hope that she just continues to skyrocket. And I mean, what do you hope is next for her?
You know what? Here's the fun thing. They say that this is a 7-year town. So you have to be here at least 7 years before you make it. Nikki's been here longer than that. And I've known her longer than that. I have watched this girl work her buns off. I mean, she really has for so many years. And she'd get a little bit of a blip of success, and then something would happen and she'd start right back over at the beginning. This was her moment. This was a defining moment, not only for her, for that song, for her message. And she knows it and owns it. And I'm just ready. I'm ready to follow Mickey wherever she is leading. Right. I am Team Mickey. And I'm so happy, just as a friend, to watch that happen for her.
A long overdue moment too, and those who have followed Mickey through the years know that she's very vocal when it comes to injustices with women and also artists of color, and she is fighting the good fight. And I want to give her a huge congratulations because this performance makes her the first African American female country artist to take the stage solo at the ACM Awards, and I feel like this is just the beginning.
Yeah, absolutely. Long time coming and long overdue. So happy for her. It's just
So
an
happy for
incredible
Mickey.
night all the way
Yes.
around. I know.
Yes, and debuted her baby bump. We love it. We love it. Now, it truly was a night to remember, but I feel like a lot of people watching at home have some questions. How did the ACMs pull off this epic 3-hour long show that had performances, actually 24 performances scattered throughout 3 different locations in Nashville? I want to bring back my country music expert, Kelly Sutton, to get your first thoughts because you have gone to plenty of country music awards shows. What was your thought on this one? Obviously, things have changed.
Oh my goodness. Okay, I don't know how they pulled it all off. You know as well as I do the amount of work that goes behind the scenes to do this. If it's in one spot, like if you're just at Bridgestone Arena or if you're just in Las Vegas at MGM, this was at 3 different venues. You had 24 performances, as you mentioned, and you have to stay socially distant. So it's not, you can't even get close to, I don't know, your bandmate. So it was incredible, and a Herculean effort that they pulled this off, and they did it so flawlessly. I thought it was a beautiful show, and hats off to everybody at ACMs. But yeah, behind the scenes, I'm not really sure those flyover shots. How did all that happen?
I will say one of my favorite moments was how they used Google Earth from going from one location to the other in Nashville. I thought this was the coolest thing in the entire world. I absolutely love it. I also loved that they had a lot of safety procedures implemented. There was a moment where you could see Darius Rucker pulled out microphones from a Ziploc bag. Makeup artists were covered with PPE from head to toe around Miranda Lambert when they were getting her ready for her performance. And of course, you had the presenters who were socially distanced. And it's tough to keep country artists 6 feet away from each other. Everyone wants to high five. Everyone wants to slap hands, hug each other and whatnot. But we actually did catch up with the masterminds behind this amazing awards show. ACM CEO Damon Whiteside, producer Rhett Clark, and also director Glenn Weiss, who gave us some insight into how all of this was going to be pulled off.
With the pandemic, we wanted to make sure that we kept everyone as safe as possible. And the best way to do that is to do it in everybody's backyard. And that was the safest way for us to do it.
We had to obviously consider safety protocols. There will be some elements that leading up to the show will be pre-taping, and some of that is just, like I said, due to safety reasons and logistical reasons. We're really severely limiting the number of people that can be around the talent or can just be backstage, period. And it really is truly only essential staff.
We're taking artists back into a theater. We're not going to have an audience. We're going to great lengths to do this safely as possible and bring the kind of entertainment that you're used to getting at home back to you during this pandemic.
Well, hats off to the entire team for pulling off an amazing show. And one thing that was a little bit different that I want to touch on for a second was the fashion. Obviously, there was no red carpet, so we didn't know what to expect. Right. And I feel like it was a little, there was a mix. You had someone like Taylor Swift, who was a little bit more casual. She was in pants and she styled herself. And then you have, Carrie Underwood, who's in her beautiful gold dress. Then you had Kelsey Ballerini, head to toe red sequins. I mean, she looked amazing. Jimmy Allen, who always looks great. Miranda Lambert, all glammed up, but not like too over the top. So I thought it was a good little mix.
It's like the Zoom call that everybody's been having, like you're dressed up from here to here, but everything, you got on shorts and flip-flops down below. That's exactly
Kelly,
what this was all like that.
We're going to end the show by showing my blue sweatpants that I'm wearing, okay?
I got tennis shoes, girl. I'm right there with you.
We are just keeping it real. But you know what, Kelly, thank you so much for joining us as we recap the ACM Awards. I miss you. I can't wait to reunite with you on the red carpet and take our annual selfie together. Yes. And thank you all for watching. Make sure you tune into Entertainment Tonight tomorrow for all of our interviews from backstage. And of course, more ACM goodness on etonline.com. Bye, guys.